Meeting of the Fitchburg City Council. I now call this meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I ask that anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating their name and city of residence. Seeing none, at this time I ask that all electronic devices be placed into silent mode. Councillor Schultz, would you please lead us in the salute to the flag?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councillor Schultz?
Here.
Councillor Van Hazinger?
Here.
Councillor Walsh?
Here.
President Zarella?
Here.
Councillor Bushman?
Here.
Councillor Kuchar?
Here.
Councillor Cragen?
Here.
Councillor Cruz?
Here.
Councillor Di Natale? Councillor Fleming?
Here.
Councillor Green?
Here.
10 members present.
Thank you very much. We have no one logged in on Zoom this evening for public forum. We do have Kim Goodwin signed up to speak. You may approach the center podium. We already have your name and city of residence, so if you could just, for the public, identify the item on which you'd like to speak, and then you'll have 2 minutes.
Yes, the item that I want to speak on is Petition 030-24 that was submitted by Andrew Kuchar back in February, I think it was. As we are familiar with the discussion points, I've brought some papers with your permission that I would like to hand out to the councilors. I did a record request from the city for the Click Fix records of all the open complaints about the smell in West Fitchburg. And I will give you, I'll hand them out, but then I would like to give you an explanation because it was 100 pages worth of data, and I tried to just summarize it for the largest disturbing points.
All right, so why don't you just bring them here, and I will pass them to either side. All right. Actually, that way I can, since you're not speaking. Thank you. And go. There we go. Go ahead.
Okay. And I'm going to say I realized it on my way down here today that I realistically need to update this a little bit because it's been 13 days since the last time I did the calculations. I went through and summarized or filtered the various informations from the earliest complaint, which was issued on September 3rd, 2019. So the last complaint that this report covers was 11/20/24. Out of that date time frame, there has been 247 complaints for odors, 2 for sewer, that was before they put in the specific topic for odor, and then 7 for sewage. So there's been a total of 256 complaints about odors, sewage, sewer smells. On the column on the right where it talks about 60 on K. Goodwin, that is my calculation just to verify that my information that's in the report matches what I have on my own records, which it did. So this tells us that there was 29 unique email addresses. Yes?
I hate to cut you off, but we do have a time limit, and
it's it.
If you'd like to send us all a more thorough summary in email,
okay, I can do that.
I can only speak for myself, but I'll certainly be interested to read it.
The most concerning one is the times that this has been open. Right. 1,905 days this complaint or this problem has been in existence.
We will look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none. Announcements. I'd like to lead us off with a moment of silence for 2 individuals who both passed away recently, both of whom have put a lot of service into this city. The first is Toddy Martell, Jerry Martell's widow, who also was herself very involved. I knew her particularly through her patronage of the art museum, but the list of things she was involved in would be almost as long as the list for her late husband, and we all know how much he was into. And also Jen Monty Bragdon, a mother of 3 students in Fitchburg Public Schools and a Therapause team member who volunteered hundreds of hours in schools with therapy pets, passed away recently and young from an unexpected brief illness. If we could please have a moment of silence to honor both of those women. Thank you. The next 2 meetings of the Widowed Helping Widowed Support Group will take place on Thursday, December 19th and Thursday, January 2nd, both from 4 until 5:30 p.m. in room 205 at the Fitchburg State University Recreation Center, 130 North Street. Kelly Lynn and Bernie Schultz will co-facilitate the meeting. There will be a winter solstice nature walk to visit historic graves of local notables and veterans on Saturday, December 21st at 1 p.m., rain or shine, at the Fitchburg Historic Forest Hill Cemetery. Donations are welcome to benefit the Friends of Fitchburg Cemeteries, and you can email Friends of Fitchburg Cemeteries, all one word, at gmail.com for further information. There will be a Ward 3 meeting and potluck at the British American Club December 19th at 6 p.m. You can come and have a bite to eat, celebrate the holidays, and discuss the ward. And have a glass of cheer while you're there. Next up, we have the report of the Committee on Records. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've reviewed the records and they appear to be in order.
Motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion and second. If there is no objection, it is approved unanimously. We have a communication from the Fitchburg Retirement System, the Retirement Board's CY25 budget, calendar year 25 budget. If there is no objection, we will waive the reading and that will be placed on file with the clerk's office.
So be.
Thank you. We also have the 2023 annual report of the city clerk's office. Was there anything that you would like to specifically highlight, or shall we just place that on file as well?
No, it was a good year. 3 elections went pretty well. So on file at the clerk's office. So yeah.
All right, and I have looked at it myself. I would encourage everyone else to. It really does highlight the sheer volume of tasks that the clerk's office undertakes in a given year. And let me stress, by saying that, I don't mean to imply that all the other reports that we place on file with the clerk's office without reading are not worthy of inspection. It's just I happen to know what goes on in the clerk's office. Next, we have a report from the Board of Health regarding 3024, the petition by Councillor Andrew Kuchar on behalf of residents of Oak Ridge condominiums to investigate the offensive odor. Mr. Curry?
Good evening, councillors. I have not prepared a presentation. I was told that I was here to answer questions. However, I do not deny that there are odors in the West Fitchburg area. I do not deny that they have been around for several years. Pointing out specific complaints from 6 years ago, I admit there's a problem in West Fitchburg with odors. 6 years ago, because we didn't respond to a complaint, doesn't mean we're not working on it or dealing with it. A lot of things have been said over the last several months that the health department is not dealing with it. Nothing has been done regarding the issue. That That is not true. We have been working with Grafe Paper for close to a year now. They have revamped their water treatment system. We feel like there has been some improvement. The odors have been reduced, and the odors have changed. Previously, there was an acrid paper odor in West Fitchburg. Now it's more of a sewage odor. We tried to respond immediately. For example, I was walking out the door tonight at 5:10, and I did see a complaint come in, and I immediately shot up to the Oak Ridge condos. I drove around for a while, didn't notice much, drove the Grief facility, drove the landfill, the wastewater treatment plant, did not notice any odors. I drove several streets within the Oak Ridge condos. I did not notice an odor. However, the third time I drove through the facility, I did notice a slight odor coming onto Franklin Road. I went back and did that 2 or 3 more times and did not notice it. Pinpointing the issue has been very difficult since the odor has changed. It may not be Grief officials anymore. The odor is not the same at the facility as it is what we've experienced up at the Oak Ridge condos. I will leave it at that for now and answer some questions.
All right, I have Councilor Kuchar.
Thank you, Mr. Curry, for appearing before us today. What are the reports of the dredging of the reservoirs in dumping the whatever was dredged out of the reservoirs into the West Fitchburg plant?
So it's my understanding the 2 water treatment facilities clean their lagoons twice a year. And when that process happens, they truck approximately 42 tankers to the West wastewater treatment plant.
So the reports that I got that this odor was produced because there was dredging or cleaning of the reservoirs is only happening twice a year?
It's happening twice a year, but it's also 42 truckloads, so it happens for a month period at a time.
Okay, but these reports of the smell, according to Mr. Goodwin, have been happening since, where's that report?
The orders have been going on for...
Since September 3rd of 2019. That was the earliest complaint.
That's correct. And then there was multiple complaints in October, and then we did not receive any complaints for about a 3 to 4 week period, probably more like 3. It started up again in about Thanksgiving, or a day or 2 before and a day or 2 afterwards.
Was that when they were dredging the reservoirs?
That was during the October period, yes.
What times a year do they dredge these reservoirs?
I've been told, I believe, April and October-ish. It's not a...
So basically the change of the seasons when...
That's my understanding, yes.
And is there any other plan any other way to get rid of this stuff that they're dredging out of the reservoir?
Not that I'm aware of, other than another treatment plant in another community, which obviously comes with cost.
Well, this is our drinking water, correct? This is the stuff that we drink, correct?
I believe this is backwash from the water filter system at the water department.
Okay, so it's not toxic waste, correct?
No. The water that is disposed of at the wastewater treatment plant contains alum. It has a high content of alum, which is too high to actually dispose of at the east plant. So the idea there is these waters are disposed of at the west plant so it can track its way through the sewer system and dilute the alum so that it meets permit requirements for the wastewater treatment plant.
So are there any plans going forward to be able to relieve my residents of this odor that's permeating through our ward?
Well, I can only try to pinpoint what the odor is. We're working with all 3 facilities, and when there's an odor complaint, we go out and investigate it.
So basically what you're saying is this is going to be something that my residents have to deal with for,
That's not what I'm saying. Put it this way, the city is now looking into, or I believe they've even hired a third-party investigator, like the 2 other facilities that have created nuisance odors. So maybe the additional eyes, ears, and nose on the situation can help.
but this is going to be something ongoing with the Board of Health. It's not, you're not just dropping it, correct?
That's correct.
All right, no further questions.
Vice President Van Hazinga.
Thank you, Mr. President. So when we last had the presentation from the representative brief, they were going to replace the water treatment system they have on site and go back to the old system. I forget what it was called.
That's correct.
And there was a spool-up time that it would take to get it fully functioning. Could you do you have any update there about, is it fully functioning now? Or
It is fully functional as of December 3rd. They have they are continuing to install equipment to measure odors that are, they have an odor panel, which they call, and they've created a biomass, and they have accomplished what they want by their renovation. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean they're 100% off the hook, but the odors are just not similar from the odors from the mill that the odors exist up at the condos.
Okay. So the reports have continued since it became fully operational on the 3rd?
I would say they've been reduced considerably.
Okay.
Considerably. In fact, before tonight, I have not seen a complaint since November 28th. And during that week, from the 24th to the 28th, it's just a guess off the top of my head, there was a 3-week period before that, there was no complaints.
So is part of the problem with identifying this is it could very well be different odors at different times? It could be brief and
Lately, in the last 2 months, it's been strictly a sewer odor.
Okay.
There has been no, the paper process produces hydrogen sulfide, as we discussed the last time. There has been no rotten egg sulfur odor that I have noticed or that anybody else has noticed. It's been strictly sewage, a sewage odor since October.
Is this coming from treatment operations at the West Plant, or is it just venting out of the West Plant? Possibly, I guess. We don't know definitively.
It's hard to pinpoint it directly to the West Plant. It could also be a sewer line issue. It could also be a failing septic system up on Franklin Road. Doubtfully, that odor would carry down to Princeton Road, but it's possible that it could be the landfill as well. The landfill does produce leachate, which goes to the sewer system and to the East Plant. So to pinpoint it is difficult. I need assistance from the wastewater guys, the sewer guys on the street. We need to pop manholes when the odor is occurring, and I can tell you at the end of the week, right around December 1st, somewhere around Thanksgiving and December 1st, there was a sewer blockage on Depot Street. A large rock wedged itself in the sewer lines, and quite a bit of sewage was spilling out on Depot Street for a short period of time. Whether that produced or helped with the odors is impossible to say, because couldn't determine it, but that's...
Well, I'm sure it didn't help.
There's a lot of factors in this. This is why I don't want to immediately point the finger until I have enough evidence to do so.
All right. Thank you. I'm all set.
All right, I have a few quick questions. One that just occurred to me is, you said there's this dredging that occurs, and that seems to correlate with some peaks in the odor complaints. Is there any way to tell whether that odor, whether that's the odor or some other odor, whether that odor is being caused by the treatment of what's produced from that dredging, or whether it's the dredging itself exposing some of these gases to the air? In other words, what's the point source of the smell? Is it coming from the reservoir, or is it coming from the treatment plant?
I have been told that, different stories, but I haven't witnessed an actual dumping of the tankers at the wastewater treatment plant as of yet. But I have been told it's a very smelly process, and then other people say it has absolutely no odor. So who to believe? I also have concerns that there are the potential for sewer odors up in the area. Not all of Franklin Road is on sewer. So there's the potential for that.
So that actually leads me into my next question, which is, since part of the problem that we seem to be having is IDing the odor and its source and matching the complaint to the odor that's being produced and so forth, do you think maybe you could talk to Greif and see if the next time they do their dredge, they could invite members of the community to observe and say, yes, this is what we're smelling, or no, this is something completely different? Maybe they don't want to. I don't know. I'm seeing a head shaking back there. If they don't want to, they don't want to, obviously. But, it seems like...
I think there's confusion. Dredging, the dredging is the lagoons from the Fitchburg water department.
Oh, that's the... Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
So is that something that someone could observe in a safe manner and...
Yes.
say, yes, this is what we're smelling, or this is something completely different? It seems like maybe that would help narrow it down. Just a thought.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I alluded to earlier, when there's about 9,000 gallons of water that comes out of that tanker. And I lost my train of thought before, but is it possible that as this waste travels the sewer line, that it gathers somewhere? We also have a sewer separation project going on at the same time in the area. Is the possibility of some standing water, standing sewage in the system? And these are all things that we need to rule out before.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And the last question I have, just because it came up in, tonight and in a prior email, but it's also come up in a few other areas of C-Click Fix and reporting and so forth. And I don't fully know the details, so consider this an open request for information, not an allegation or anything. But I've heard from people that complaints are being frequently closed without actually being resolved. What is the standard for closure, and would it make sense to actually leave a complaint open until there's an actual resolution, so that it remains sort of a goad, sort of a burr in the shoe, so to speak, to say, hey, we've got this complaint that's been open for 3 months, we still haven't resolved it, we got to look back at that.
Yep. Rather
than saying, well, we told them what we thought it was, we closed it, and now they're complaining again.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, everybody that operates C-Click Fix has a different way to handle that issue. But in my department, most of the times and yes, there's been 256 complaints, and there's probably not an answer for all of those 256 complaints. It's when you get 200 complaints, you probably missed one or two. But we do try to update through that, but through that system, through C-Click Fix, to whoever makes the complaints, and most of the time they all come at the same time, so you try to group them and give a standard response. But it is possible that some remain open for 6 years, but
right. So
it's not that we're not looking into it. It's just a
no. I get that. I guess what I'm saying is, it sounds like you're saying that it gets closed once a response has been made. I guess I'm asking, should it perhaps stay open until there's an actual resolution?
And in my department, I believe that does happen.
Okay.
And the intent is to leave it open and provide. There's only 3 steps to C-Click Fix: is to leave it open, close it, or or to acknowledge it. And once you acknowledge it, you have to comment on it, so it gets confusing in the system and it accidentally gets closed. And if you're grouping a response, sometimes you close them. It does happen. You can reopen them when they're closed if that becomes an issue.
Okay. I just figured this was a good time to ask that and
Yeah.
get some more information on that, because like I said, this is not the only issue that I've gotten queries about that from, and now I have more information to share with people, so thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else? Questions, comments? All right, we don't actually have any vote to take on this, so thank you for being here to answer questions.
You're welcome.
And,
Thank you.
thank you guys for coming and sharing your experience. Hopefully we can continue to improve this as we go, and we'll be in touch. Next, we have the report of the Finance Committee. Councilor Di Natale has asked me to provide that report. There were 4 items taken up. We met on December 11th. We had 20324, order that the City of Fitchburg hereby approves the expenditure of funds from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security State 911 Department Training Grant in the approximate amount of $107,658.82 for the purpose of training fire department dispatchers in emergency medical dispatch procedures and police department dispatchers in 911 emergency procedures. That was unanimously recommended. 20524, order that the City of Fitchburg hereby appropriate and transfer the sum of $400,000 from ARPA Boulder Drive water mains to ARPA Main Street water mains. It was explained to us that this was just the Boulder Drive project came in under budget, and we're going to need a lot of that for Main Street. That was unanimously recommended. 20624, there was a unanimous amendment to add an additional line item of $186,282.65 to be taken from the funds appropriated for the Park Hill and Mama Fitz parks. That was unanimously amended, and I want to explain, because we did ask specifically, this does not reflect a decision on the part of the city to abandon those park improvements. Rather, because of uncertainties in those costs, it would not be possible to formally obligate those funds before the first of the year, and the ARPA funds have to be formally obligated by then. So by transferring those ARPA funds to a different purpose, in this case, employee benefits, we get to formally obligate them and therefore keep them, not have to give them back to the Treasury Department. And then we can appropriate an equivalent amount from another source to continue with the park project. Councillor Fleming?
So we're going into a tight budget season. I don't see that these funds are going to be appropriated for those purposes anytime soon. Am I correct?
From what I was told, I think there already is a plan to cover it. I don't recall all the details off the top of my head, but was that your recollection, Councillor? Councillors?
Yep.
So, yeah, as far as we were told, there already is a plan to cover it. The city is committed to keeping those projects underway continuously. This is just, as I put it the day of, this is an accounting trick, but the good kind,
okay.
That allows us to keep money rather than having to turn it back to the federal government. So the order as amended is that the City of Fitchburg hereby appropriate and transfer the sum of $280,782.65 to employee benefits health insurance from the following ARPA accounts: the Fitchburg Business Loan Pool, Crockerfield Turf Replacement, and the Park Hill and Mama Fitz Parks. And that was unanimously recommended as amended. And then 20724, the City of Fitchburg hereby appropriate and transfer the sum of $50,000 from reserve for other municipal purposes expenses to auditor expenses contracted services. Just one moment, Counselor. And it was explained to us that this is for a consultant to basically look at our budgeting process and see how we can do it better. I'm very broadly paraphrasing, but that was also unanimously recommended. Councillor Green.
Will that be a recurring expense that happens through the auditor's department, or is this one and done? And is it an audit of how we're doing our business practices, or what? I'd like, I guess, more specific than it was just for a contracted service for the auditor.
It's to develop a 5-year plan.
Oh, yeah.
This was something that personally, this isn't my area of expertise, but the chair said it sounded very viable and important. And the idea is that this would be a one-time expense, which would then sort of set us up to continually update this plan as we go forward, internally, I mean, and basically figure out how to do more with less.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation.
No problem.
Motion to approve the report?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the report of the Finance Committee. If there is no objection, we'll take it under unanimous consent. Report of the Public Safety Committee. Councillor Green.
Yes, so Public Safety met tonight. We had one petition before us, 20824, Auto Pro Sales and Services, LLC, to petition for a Class 2 dealer's license located at 672 to 678 Water Street. That was granted just for familiarity. That's the old M&M Auto Sales. It's just the auto dealership. It has nothing to do with the gas station that is next to that property.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Question?
Just some questions.
Councillor Boschman.
Mr. President, as I read the report on that we got from everybody they wanted 27 cars, they went down to 22, and I'm asking that we accept it for 20 cars instead of 22. Reason being that...
Are you?
Okay,
You're on the wrong subject.
on the automobile.
We're talking about public safety.
Yeah, we're on public safety.
Yeah, we're on public.
We're on public safety.
Okay.
Amy Green,
All right. I apologize.
you're welcome. You think I just want to talk?
I thought you were talking about the last thing.
No. And the reason being is, if you drive around a lot of places that sell used cars, and we give them as much room as they want, and they pack it up with cars, then all of a sudden, if you got a good mechanic on hand, people stop in there, and there's not enough parking. I figure if we went down to 20, if this guy needs more, he can come back in front of us, and we'll give him more. But we'll start off with 20, nothing against the chair over there, but we'll start off with 20 and go up from there. Instead of give them the 22, let's go give them 20, there'll be more parking spaces. If a guy like me comes in, say, hey, can you fix my windshield wiper? I'm taking a parking space. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So... because he is going to repair cars. He's selling cars. He's going to repair cars.
Okay. Councillor Green.
So the 22 is for spaces for the automobiles.
Right.
That zoning has already determined that between the owners, the mechanic, there's enough parking there that will accommodate that. So 22 is just for the cars that he wants to sell. That doesn't say that he doesn't have enough room for 30 vehicles there to take into account the 22 he's selling, plus the car for the 2 owners and the car for the mechanic, and then a couple of cars for anybody who may want to stop and get their windshield blade fixed, or, why is my check engine light on? So, and that's not through this chair that makes the determination of 22. That was through zoning, that they already determined that 22 was a reasonable number for that space.
And I understand that zoning made the decision, but we have the right to alter the decision. They wanted, I'll give a prime example, and you were on the council, they wanted Mr. Dufour on Rollstone to put fences around his thing and put decorative fences. And we as a council said, no, you don't have to do that.
Right.
We said that, but zoning wanted that decoration.
Counselor, well, all I can say is I don't know if our zoning code has changed in relevant respect since then, but under existing law, the council does not have the authority to dispense with a condition that the zoning board placed on a permit, because their permit is their permit. Our dealer's license is a separate thing. They grant a permit that's necessary. We also grant a license that's necessary, but those are two different things. We could add conditions, but we could not say you don't have to do what the zoning board said you have to do. That's not within our power.
So you're telling me that we can't say no? If the zoning board came back and said, you can put 100 cars there?
No, we
can't
could,
say that?
In theory, we could add additional restrictions. What we can't do is remove restrictions. So if they said 15 cars, we could say you're licensed for 25, even though they said 15, but they'd still only be able to actually put 15 on the lot unless the zoning board changed their mind.
I'm completely lost.
Okay,
It's not the way I've been told for the last 10 years.
The basic idea, well, I've been on both bodies, and so the basic idea, though, is that it is not our role to review and revisit the decision of the zoning board. We are two separate bodies making two separate decisions. Our role is to decide whether the applicant is a fit holder of the license and what the license should entail, not to determine site work and things like that.
Right, and this applicant completed all the necessary forms and paperwork to apply and then be issued a Class 2 dealer's license.
Right, and I assume that if there were any concrete reason why it should not be issued, then the committee would have identified that.
Right.
Well, Mr. President, sorry if it's over my head, but explain to me when I sat in this seat, not this seat, on this council, and they said, we're going to give you 15, and the council said, oh no, you can have 25.
Counselor, I don't know what happened in a previous iteration of this council that I wasn't on. All I can tell you is that that is not within the power of this council at this time. It's possible that the zoning, I do know that the zoning ordinance prior to my time on the board did assign more responsibilities to the council than it currently does. The council was the permitting body for certain things that now go to the zoning board or the planning board. So it's possible that at the time the council was the permit issuing authority, but now we are not. Councilor Schultz.
Yeah, I sit on the public safety, and we had the meeting, and I asked specifically how many cars, and it was 22 cars. Now, the two guys walked away, said, we approved the 22 cars, and I think we should hold to that because, all of a sudden we're going to say, well, we're going to reduce it by 2 cars after that's not something we should be doing anyway, even if it was in our power.
Oh, come on. Raise our standards.
Counselor, you don't have the floor at the moment.
So that's my take on it, and I agree with Councilor Green. We should go with the 22 cars and just leave it at that. I yield the floor.
Motion to move the question.
Second.
I have a motion and second to move the question. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll for a 2/3 vote?
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Van Hazinger?
Yes.
Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
President Torello?
Yes.
Counselor Boishman?
No.
Counselor Kuchar?
Yes.
Counselor Cragen?
Yes.
Counselor Cruz?
No.
Counselor Fleming?
Yes.
Counselor Green?
Yes.
8 yeses, 2 noes.
All right, motion to move the question carries. All in favor of approving and accepting the report of the committee?
Aye.
Aye. In opposition? 1 in opposition. Motion carries 9-1. One last item, 21024. Liz Murphy, Executive Director, Community Development and Planning, requesting that the council execute and accept the proposal to purchase and redevelop the following property and authorize the mayor to take any and all action necessary to facilitate transfer of the property. This is 104 Daniels Street, and we have a request for suspension of the rules.
So moved.
So moved.
I have a motion and second for suspension of the rules. Do I have an objection? Seeing no objection, the matter is before the council. Director?
Thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Appreciate the suspension of the rules. I'm asking for this because, well, let me back up. This property has been in front of City Council and in front of Property Committee in the past. We've actually owned this property for 7 or 8 years. It came to us through tax title. It's a blighted property. It's a very constrained property on Daniel Street. Doesn't have any parking. It's been a challenge for us to sell this property. This is our third RFP. We had one that was unsuccessful. We had a second one where we had a buyer, and City Council had approved that buyer to acquire the property and for the mayor to proceed, but then that buyer did not actually have the financing that they need, and they pulled out of that deal. So we did put out another RFP this past spring. In late May, we accepted bids. Mock proposed to purchase the property for a nominal sum and to redevelop it. And they're the first buyer who's actually identified the parking that is required to reactivate this property. And so they've done that because they actually own 40 Fairmont Street across the street. That's for folks that don't know that by the address. It's the Adrian Ford Center for Change, and then right next to it was Restoration Recovery, which I think is going to become more of the Adrian Ford Center for Change. So they have an existing parking lot, and then they also have a piece of property on the back side of that parking lot that is at a higher elevation. You would come to it from Plymouth Street, and could also be additional parking. So whether it becomes existing parking or they renovate the parcel that is just grass right now on Plymouth Street, either way they would provide the parking that's needed. So we would like to proceed with this sale. And honestly, I thought that the prior approval of the sale was sufficient until I looked at the petition and saw that it was very specific. The language in that petition was very specific to that last buyer. So that was my moment where I said, oh, I got to come before the council again. And now we're in a rush because the buyer at Mock is applying for a grant. So they need an executed purchase and sale agreement to submit with the grant so that they can show that they have some sort of actual interest in that property for the grant funds.
Before I go to any questions, I'm just noticing, speaking of wording, and because time is of the essence and we don't want to have to do this again, I would ask to entertain a motion to amend the petition as written to add after the word necessary in the final line the words or convenient, simply to give the mayor broader authority to do things that might not be strictly needed, but that will grease the skids on this project.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Is there any objection to that amendment? No. Seeing none, it is amended. Now, any questions, comments from council? Councilor Brochman.
It happens to be in my ward 104. It's an eyesore. The city owns it. We don't take care of it. The graffiti all over the building. Grass and weeds are growing through the sidewalks. The only problem I have with this proposal, seriously, I'm all in favor of Mark taking it over and taking it down and put 7 units up there, is the parking.
Yeah.
The parking, in my opinion, is too far. I think you put in a you're putting in lower income people in that place, and they got to walk with kids down Plymouth Street, across the street. And that it's pretty far. I'm not going to stop the project, but I'm asking you if you can talk to Mark and see. There's a couple parcels of land that right here, I went to the registry that they could probably purchase or get. It'd be even a heck of a lot closer and they can get a better clientele going into their apartment building. What I don't want to see is that you put an apartment building up and you don't have the proper parking. Then you don't get the right clientele, because they don't want, the clientele that will come in there won't care about the neighborhood, and they won't care about the property. It's been a proven fact down there. So if there's 2 parcels of land right next to it, and almost right across the street from it. One of them the city owns, almost. And there's another one the church wants to sell. I talked to them.
I'd be happy to take a look at that with you and make arrangements to have a meeting with Mock, with you or without you, however you'd like to proceed.
The only reason, because it's pretty, if you've been up there, I don't know if any of you have been up there, they got to walk across the street, walk up Plymouth Street, and then take their kids and their groceries from that place there all the way down to there and cross the street, which is a very busy street for kids to be crossing. And that piece of property would be nice for Mark to develop and put a 2-family up there. And they won't have to spend all that kind of money to raise it up, because if they're coming down, there's a hill there. So if they're coming down in the wintertime, they're going to slide, I don't care what they put, they're going to really have to bring in a lot of fill, and they can go over the wall.
I'd love to take a closer look at those parcels, because I've looked all around that property to try to identify anything close enough to make 104 Daniel Street work, and 40 Fairmont was the closest I could get. So I'm not sure what those parcels are, but I'd love to take a look at them and see if they're feasible, and talk to Mark.
I'll give them to you right after the meeting.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, Councilor Van Hazinga.
Yes, so just in terms of proximity to the parking lot, I believe the standard for the planning board is 800 feet?
Yes.
And does that fall within the 800 feet?
It does.
Okay. And as I understand it, the potential purchaser needs a signed purchase and sale agreement to apply for their funding for the project. Mm-hmm. If they do not receive the funding, will the purchase and sale be executed, or be back to the drawing board and still maintain possession of the property?
We have told them that we will not wait until they have all of their funding secured, because initially they wanted to have a purchase and sale agreement that was like a year, 2 year, until they identified all of their funding, and we said we cannot continue to hold this property. So we agreed to some basic due diligence time frame, specifically doing a site assessment for environmental issues, and I think a few other things. I think we have a 3-month time frame with another month option to extend. So we've already done a little bit of negotiating, because they did want to do exactly that, and we said no, we can't keep holding on to this property.
And how long have we held the property?
7 or 8 years now.
Oh, yeah, 10 years. Because we had a substation there. Oh.
All right, thank you very much. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Oh, Councilor Fleming.
I'm just a little bit confused about something. Councilor Boschman is saying that Plymouth Street is too far away from 104 Daniel Street to have parking, have people walk to one, but you're proposing the church parking lot, which is further away.
No, you're not.
I'm looking at it.
You can look at, look, they owned a piece of property on the corner of Plymouth Street and Daniel Street, right on the corner. As a matter of fact, it's going up for sale.
Okay, all right, okay. It's not showing that on here, so that's why I was confused. Okay, thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
All right, I have a motion, and I'll take that as a motion in a second, to approve this petition and execute it. Is there any objection? Seeing none, it is unanimously approved. Thank you, and that concludes our business for the evening.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. President, you know what you forgot to do?
What's that?
You forget to wish Fitchburg a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You know, I forgot this was our last meeting before then. Thank you for reminding me. I would like to certainly wish all of our residents and all our city employees a very Merry Christmas, the enjoyment of whatever other holidays you may celebrate this season, and a very Happy New Year.
Don't forget Ward 2, especially Ward 2.
Especially Ward 2.
Okay.
Prayer.
I had a motion and second to adjourn. Seeing no objection, thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.